Does an investment in space tourism really make financial sense? Virgin Galactic's true profit potential lies not in space tourism, not in payloads. However, Virgin Galactic is sitting on a potential gold mine within a $200 billion industry. And this opportunity that Virgin Galactic has is something that neither Blue Origin or SpaceX can really lay claim to. So what is this opportunity that might kick Virgin Galactic's stock off into the stratosphere? Stick with me, we're going to go over it. Hey MCE crew, I hope your day is progressing profitably. Let's examine the space tourism industry. And then let's take a look at this concept, this opportunity that only Virgin Galactic is positioned to capitalize on, and how that might really make them a smart investment if they're able to seize on the opportunity going forward. Okay, first of all, we saw Sir Richard Branson going up in his Unity craft. We saw Jeff Bezos come after him and blast off 50 miles or 51 miles above the Earth. Great. You know, we saw a lot of people look ma, no hands, whoop-de-doo. Awesome. How many people do you think on this planet can afford, on a whim, to put up between $250 for Virgin Galactic and close to $500,000 for Blue Origin to just go up into space for a couple of minutes and then come right back down? They're buying an experience. If I had the money, I would do it, but I would have to have millions upon millions of dollars in order to do it. Right now, it's positioned such that if you try to write that off on your taxes, it's probably going to get you a knock on the door from an IRS agent, because this is a leisure activity, okay? It's, high-priced bungee jumping. And I'm not knocking anybody who wants to actually do it. I think it would be great to say that you've done it. But again, how many people are going to be able to justify that type of expense on that type of event, on that type of experience? Not many in the grand scheme of things. Now let's look specifically at Virgin Galactic. Now Virgin Galactic, and we're going to look at them. We're also going to look at SpaceX, although they're doing something a little different, but Blue Origin as well. But Virgin Galactic, that craft that they have, the Unity craft, has 8 seats. 2 are for pilots, okay, leaving 6 seats. So if you multiply 250,000 times 6, you're going to come up with $1.5 million. Now, Virgin Galactic has said that they want to operate on a 65% margin. So after you account for fuel, pilots, ground crew, those type of expenses, and remember, we've got 2 people on board this craft that are not paying but are being paid. So after you account for all of that, the gross margin per customer is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $162,500 per client. You multiply that by 6 and you're going to get $975,000 per flight in terms of profit. Okay, so on the face of it, you might say, fine, that's $1 million per flight in profit. That's a great margin. Yeah, it is. But what about the sales volume? Again, how many people are going to be able to actually put up the entire cost of that ticket? And again, this is not, a business expense. This is not research. This is just, again, high-priced bungee jumping. So the volume will have to be there. And I don't believe it is. I don't believe that people are going to, if they have the money, most that have it are not going to put it up. And most don't have it. So that's going to be an Achilles heel in not just the Virgin Galactic plans for space tourism, but also Blue Origin's. Because remember, Blue Origin, they're charging $500,000 per seat. Okay, to examine exactly where the profit potential is for Virgin Galactic, we have to look at something that Elon Musk and SpaceX said a little while back. They released a video and some verbiage around point-to-point travel and being able to go, for example, from New York City to Shanghai, China, in about 30 minutes, okay? I can't get from here where I'm at to Philadelphia in 30 minutes. I can't get from here to DC in 30 minutes, okay? But this concept that Elon Musk came up with his rocket travel would enable that rocket to leave, again, New York City, travel thousands of miles, about 10,000 miles in 30 minutes, because they would achieve a very high altitude, just move over slightly and then descend, because you know his rockets are capable of descending vertically into Shanghai, China, in this instance. Now, business people the world over would pay royally for that ability. The ability to compress time. Remember, time is the absolute most valuable resource you have, and it's a non-renewable resource. So any company out there that's going to provide you the ability to compress time, to save time, is going to be something that companies and business people take a look at. However, in terms of SpaceX's ability to do that, I don't think they're well positioned at all, because SpaceX is, they run rockets, and a rocket makes a lot of noise. We're getting a lot of pushback lately from the environmentalist crowd about the pollution aspect of rocketry. If you want to get an example of how public sentiment can really throw a monkey wrench into air travel, understand what happened with the Concorde, which was a joint supersonic transport project between British Airways and the French national airline carrier. All right, they were traveling at greater than the speed of sound, and when they would come up the eastern seaboard to hit New York City, they broke windows, they created sonic booms, and the public said no way. So actually, the Concorde ended up having to slow down to subsonic speeds when it got near the continental United States. So this was 40 years ago. You can just imagine the outcry that would occur if Elon Musk is blasting rockets into the stratosphere every 90 minutes. It's just not going to be practically feasible. Now, he could also decide, well, I'm going to blast these rockets off from somewhere in the ocean. But then that would stretch that time component out again, because you'd have to travel to that spot, and you'd have to, either take a slow moving aircraft or a ship in order to get to that rocket. And that would just add more time onto the travel. Now, the same thing exists with regard to Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin. They're not going to be able to have the type of flexibility in point-to-point transport that Richard Branson and Virgin Galactic have. Now, Virgin Galactic's strength is that they already operate an aircraft, the White Knight 2, that is the carrier aircraft that held on to Unity before it blasted off. White Knight and Unity are shaped as traditional aircraft, which give them the ability to land at traditional airports. The other thing about the Virgin Galactic setup is, it's going to go faster than the speed of sound. However, once the White Knight craft is up at altitude, they can blast that off over unpopulated areas and not disturb a soul, thereby not getting any pushback from the public in terms of the sound pollution. Now, there are some caveats to this. There are some challenges. Right now, Virgin Galactic only has one White Knight craft. However, the White Knight craft is pretty easy to produce, much easier to produce than any of the rockets that are manufactured by Blue Origin or SpaceX. Also, both the White Knight craft and the Unity craft are less expensive to manufacture. However, you're going to have to reduce that price. Virgin Galactic only has 6 seats on board the current Unity craft, and we saw what the economics of that look like at $250,000. Will companies be willing to pay that? Some definitely will, but they're going to have to either increase the amount of seats on that craft, and maybe they could do that by producing a larger craft, or with automation, who knows, they could eliminate 2 of the pilot seats and have that thing run on autopilot. That's a little risky. Not sure if I'd do that. Or they're going to have to generally lower the price, build more craft, and then be able to pursue volume in that way. There is a dark horse competitor to this that has nothing to do with space travel, and that is telecommunications technology. Over the past year to 18 months, we've seen advancements in telecom technology that reduce and eliminate the need for travel altogether. Okay, whole industries like the financial services industry that I'm a part of, they have changed paradigms in terms of how we interact with customers. And it's become more efficient for the client and for us, the providers. Okay, so when companies are faced with maybe having a face-to-face meeting at, let's say they were able to reduce that ticket price to $100,000 or put you on some kind of secure face-to-face Zoom meeting, depending on what the subject matter of the meeting is about, then that will definitely be a consideration. And you also have to take into account the fact that sometimes meeting face-to-face, especially in this highly surveilled world we live in, sometimes meeting face-to-face is the best option. Okay, so for my money, they're sitting somewhere in the neighborhood of $30. $29.58 is what they closed at on the 23rd of July, 2021. That's a little too rich for my blood right now without a very substantial and clear mission statement that they're going to move forward on point-to-point travel. I'm not excited at all about space tourism. Okay, the clientele just is not there. And at that price, almost $30 a share, there's a lot more that I could take a look at in terms of this changing world we live in and all of the technological opportunities that there are to make money. All right, so if we start seeing Virgin Galactic talking about increasing capacity by constructing more of the carrier craft and also the launch vehicles, then we can reasonably assume that they're trying to increase capacity. And if they're trying to increase capacity and also start talking about moderating that ticket price and making a concerted, well-communicated effort to cater to the business traveler, then I think that they're going to be able to access that potential we talked about and be able to tap into that $200 billion, at least here in the United States, domestic air travel market, especially for these high-end business customers that are out there in abundance. Okay, do your own due diligence. Take a look at it for yourself. Those are my opinions. I'll talk to you soon.